waiting for YouTube to pick this up before I start. So I'm going to YouTube myself and going to check it out. See if it's coming up yet. Now live. Hey, there's a little message. Now live. I wonder if that's really live, though. We will see. Okay. Welcome to Theology Unplugged. I'm Michael Patton, and we are doing another conversation with Tad. We didn't feel like we got everything taken care of, or he maybe has more stuff to say. I don't know. We'll see. I really actually don't know what we're talking about today. I've always got something to talk about. You know, I love theology, and I'll tell him about anything. But we'll see if he has any questions. Remember to subscribe and check us out on Patreon. That's all I'm going to say right now about that. So let's get started. Bring Tad in. Hey,
Michael,
Tad.
hey.
It's been forever.
It's good to see you.
It's been so long. Did you change your shirt so that people would think this isn't 2 minutes later?
That's
the value of wearing black every time. Nobody can. You never know.
It's none of your business. I didn't really feel like we were done with the last one.
Yeah.
And so I want to see where this goes. There needs to be a platform or whatever, but I don't think there does. I think we just do what we do. So going to a spot to where when Kelly was on, my buddy,
it was 2 ago, right? Yeah,
something like that. But it was a how do you pray for suicide?
Pray for a suicide victim, or somebody who's getting ready to commit suicide, or
the whole thing, all of it.
Well, tell me the situation. I'm not really sure. I mean,
okay, so it was kind of like Angie.
Yeah.
And now that I feel like I have permission to talk about Ashley, and who is a guy, and he was very he was just confused, you know, but he was very good to me, very, very good to me. And I don't know how, because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there trying to figure out, because they know somebody that's going through that same thing.
Yeah.
What's the prayer? I mean, how do you, is there a verse in the Bible, Michael, that would say, here's what you do, or here's how you pray, or here's a verse, or here's something? And what if they don't even believe in the Bible at that time? You know?
Yeah. Golly, it's so disconcerting whenever you've been through something and it's something like this, and you don't know how you would have ever done it any better, even though it failed. And my perspective,
right. I mean, everybody's gonna feel like they should have said one more word. They should have said one more thing.
It's always what you didn't do. It's always what you did do. For me, it was I kicked Angie out of my house. She was living with us, and I kicked her out of my house because of all things. Well, I mean, she was just kind of drinking a whole lot and kept on. And I hate myself for kicking her out for that. I really do. But I did. I kicked her out for that, and you know, if she would have stayed with me, that's what I think all the time. If she would have just stayed with me, she was fine. I was taking care of her. It was better. But my mother was very harsh on her whenever she came home. And, you know, my mother's kind of a no nonsense type person. You know her and how she was. And so she lived with her till her last days. And I think that what would I have done better? What could I have said? Angie, one time, listen to this. I think I've told you this before, but and Angie is my sister who was very, very depressed, ended up taking her life. This was back in 2004. And as I told somebody today, I said it creates a a dark background to everything in your family. Suicide is horrible because it's such a terrible place somebody has to get to in order to pull a trigger, metaphorical trigger and literal trigger. And so it's something that we our whole family, it's anytime we are together, that is a little bit of what's going on, even though we don't say it. Angie is always a little bit of what's going on. I'm sorry, Tad. I get really emotional talking about this because it's just, I mean, it is so hard and it's so frustrating. It's like Angie was she was talking to me. She said, Michael, and she didn't talk much during the last few years because she was just staring all the time. Kind of a,
It was weird, but I saw her with that. I was with you one time and I saw her do that. And it was not the Angie that
no. It was I mean, it was
remember in Phoenix, she got so mad at me. For some reason I wasn't doing anything wrong. She got so mad at me.
What did she do? She poured her beer on you or something?
She spit on me.
Oh.
and it was funny. Just like, Angie, I wasn't doing shit, And she got mad because she thought you were like my disciple or something. She went on this whole thing and then with Wayne, and I'm like, dude, we're all just hanging out as buddies, man. And she freaked out.
Well, you know how she was. She wasn't like she was at the end, and I mean, it was just dark and scary. And I hate to use this because, and I do believe in demons and I do believe in demon possession, but it just felt bad the whole time. I even tried. She told me that she thought she had a demon one time, and here I am, a pastor. I got ordained. I'm preaching, I'm teaching, doing all. She says, come and get the demon out of me. And I mean, I'm sitting there going, what in the world do I do? I mean, I almost turned on to watch some movies to try to figure out what to do.
Yeah.
And I didn't know, but it's like, I got to do something, Lord. I mean, what do I do?
You went through a lot with her, and you did everything in my mind, Michael. And I don't know if we've talked about this actually, even, friend to friend, how much you did for her. And you couldn't have done one more thing more than what you did. You know what I mean?
But here you are asking me, what can you do? And then saying you didn't do anything bad. I know how you feel. And I know I know what you think I know what you need to say to me, and I appreciate it. But in answering your question, this is it's just, you always do. And I don't know if there's something better. I mean, I can't tell you, Tad, there wasn't anything better we could have done, right? I mean, I went and tried to cast out a demon, and ever since then, I'm sitting here right here with a book from the Catholic Church on the rites of demon exorcism and how to do it. I have been interested in it ever since. I mean, seriously, I kid you not. And so it's like, here's what I did too with her. I put my hand on her head and I said, in the name of Jesus, if there's a demon in you, come out. And then I prayed to the Lord, if there's a demon in her. And she just stared the whole time. And afterwards I said, does it feel any different? I mean, I was hoping, it's kind of like
what'd she say to that?
She just said no. And I was like, okay, well, maybe it takes time to work. I don't know. But anyway, so I did that. Another thing she asked me was, she said, and I'm sorry, I'll let you go and just talk in just a second. But she asked me during this time, probably around these few days that we were in at this point, she said, if you kill yourself, do you go to heaven? I told you this before, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about this.
Okay. If you kill yourself, do you go to heaven? Now you say, what would you say at that point? What do you say to somebody who is very suicidal and says that to you? Do you lie and say, yeah, you'll go to hell? I mean, that's what my mom did. She actually did. Or do you say what I did? I don't know what to say to people. It's the darkest thing, and people, all you can do is be there for them. That's all I know. And I'm not I'm not trying to give some summary of somebody who's been through this. Like, I know. I mean, I've read, I've looked, I've talked, I've done everything that I know to do to try to figure out how to do stuff. But in the end, I don't know, but I know that being there for people is very important and praying for people is very important. But most important, Dad, you've got to trust God, even it's like whenever Daniel's friends were going into they were told to worship another god, and they said, we will not worship another god, and they said, we're going to throw you in the fire if you don't. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, we're going to throw you in the fire if you do not worship this other god. And they said, I love this so much. And then I'm done, I promise. They said, we will not worship another god, and our God is able to save us from your fire. But even if he doesn't, he is still God. I love that, because it's like, my God was able to save Angie, but even if he doesn't, he's still God, and he's in control. And that's what I had to do, and that's what I've had to do ever since.
There's two stories here about God and about where you kind of really turned me, and you don't even know this. I haven't even told you this. Your son or daughter got lost out of the house and walked away. You remember this? And
man, if you're talking about one time we left him, and it was a long time. Go ahead.
Have we talked about this?
I don't know.
Already?
I don't know.
But
I do so many podcasts. I don't know.
I know. Well, just focus on one. But anyway, so you called me and you were looking for him. I think it was Will or something, and he just walked away. I go, what are you worried about? And I go, it was kind of freaking me out. And you said, I'm not worried about anything because God has him. He's not my kid. He's like, and he's God's. And that made me think so differently as far as God goes. Like, my kids are just kind of, we're almost like renting them, God owns them. We're renting them. And it was the most amazing. It's one of those moments I had with you before, as far as how I feel with God right now. But it was really like, we're not anybody's, we're God's. Yeah. And so that was kind of a transforming moment for me. And then,
how is it transforming? How is it transforming, Dad? Because
I didn't really think of it that way. I thought everybody was, these are my kids. Those were your kids.
But was it transforming in the sense, because at that time, I figure it was at this time a long time ago, unless it was recently. At that time, you still didn't believe, right?
No, but I started seeing a different way about him.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, Michael might be right, because when my dad,
which your dad, by the way, just as a side, he came to the Lord before his death, and that was amazing to me. I mean, I got to go through it in a different way than you did, because here I am as a Christian. Okay, I'm sorry. I get excited about your dad. I can't wait to see him.
Well, yeah. It's funny. Sidebar. But he came to the Lord. I taught him.
Listen to you having the Christian lingo, came to the Lord.
But listen to me real quick.
I'm sorry.
And I'll probably cry.
Tad saying he came to the Lord. That's great. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
That's going to funny, actually. But well, he wouldn't even like it. But my dad was my best friend, and you know that. And he had dyslexia, couldn't read or write, but he was very successful otherwise. And I had the pleasure and the honor of teaching him how to read. And what we taught him to read was the Bible. And in Phoenix.
Oh, okay.
And Michael, he was going to get baptized. My dad did get baptized, actually.
Yeah.
But Michael had to meet the preacher first to make
sure. Didn't I?
Remember that?
I'm so arrogant. I mean, I'm not saying that wasn't good what I did, but it's like, who was I to go meet some preacher? I just probably smelt like alcohol and, did whatever I did the night before.
He was like, okay, if Michael needs to meet him first, we're going to meet him first.
I do remember though, and I approve, so we're good.
Yeah. And he got baptized. It's weird to see your dad get baptized. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially all the life that we've had together before that. But he loved you, and I don't know how they see.
Well, you got to understand. Now. I mean, I don't know if you know now, but it's like he was a Christian. I was a Christian, and whenever you're a Christian, you do have a different relationship with people. It is a brotherhood in a sense. I mean, it's like, oh, you're a believer. Okay, and especially evangelical Christian, because as an evangelical Christian, remember, we talked about this last time, evangelism means gospel, but evangelical simply means you're sharing the gospel. It's part of who you are to share the gospel. And it was with him too. And so it's like, we had this, it's like all of a sudden you're on the same mission.
Yeah.
You're in the same foxholes. And we're trying to get everybody else that's around us, and it's kind of like, a little side wink. All right, we know what we're doing, and so even though I wasn't living a Christian life, but at the same time, it was nice to have him in the foxhole with me.
And he was really, it was fun. God, man, this is very personal. I don't tell this story ever really. But I'm going to, because I feel like these people are friends, and I know there's a lot listening.
Well, do I know it?
Yeah, to teach your dad that can't read how to read the Bible, right? So it's if you go from the minute to minute on this deal, it's he and I sitting there on the couch, and I'm saying, Dad, it's the blah blah blah. Go through Genesis or whatever, right? And I have to go through every word for word and then make him read it back. I mean, it wasn't like you just teach someone to read. It was like your dad that's raised you, and it's been an amazing provider for your whole life. And now I'm teaching him the most things, like the elementary things that we should know anyway, but he just couldn't figure it out. And so we got that preacher over there, and we talked about John 3:16 last with Kelly, and that's where it started. And he goes, I really want to know. And so when I was teaching my dad to read, it was the Bible. And we had to get this 8th grade.
So wait a minute. Are you telling me, I did not know this, if this is true, are you telling me that whenever you were not yet, I mean, because of that time, you're not on the Lord's side. You're not there, right? That's what you always say to me. I'm not there yet. Okay. So I'll keep on using that language until you start saying I was saved. Once you say I'm saved, I'm going to die laughing. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm going to tell you something about the power team and me getting saved. That's a whole other deal.
Well, you talk about getting baptized. It was great. But anyway, so you're telling me that at a point when you weren't saved, when you weren't there, you were teaching your dad the Bible, and he stopped at John 3:16 and said, I want to know more. And that's how he became a Christian?
Yeah.
You're kidding me.
No.
I wondered where in the world it came from.
I know where we were sitting. I know I'll never forget it. And he goes, what's this one mean? And I'm having to read it to him, Michael.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't even believe this shit. I don't believe what I'm telling him, but I'm reading. And I'm just trying to get him to learn how to read. And he goes, hold on. What's this? Stop is what he told me. Hold on, I'm putting it in a plug right now. But Yeah, true story. I mean,
So John 3:16, and then the next thing
that's
you
why
know,
when Kelly
so
said that, I
so
was like,
before you were even a Christian, here you are evangelizing your God using you just get to teach you I mean, he's already your first convert. I mean, that's crazy. I'm sorry, dude. I mean, I
well,
know there I'm sitting there freaking out because it's so cool, but I know a lot of people are freaking out too because it's just amazing. That's really cool.
and when I got to see him, right 5 minutes. God, this is personal. I'm gonna leave this alone. I'm gonna leave this alone.
All right.
But
All right.
yeah. Anyway,
Man, that's great. That is a good story. Really
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
So anything else right now that is on your mind as far as you want to talk about before I because I got a couple things.
No, go ahead. I got it.
Okay, because this is you, Tad. This conversation's with Tad, and I'm bringing you in. You ask the questions. You guide the conversation. But if not, I'm discipling you,
No, I
so
want to
I
hear
got
everything.
to tell you where to go.
I mean,
Okay.
no.
Now, first off, I want to. I know this is dumb. I don't know whether I should do this, but I do want to go back and talk about the. I'm trying to get this airplay thing up here. I want to go back and talk about the Credo House one more time, if that's okay.
No,
Not because hey, listen, it's absolutely not because I'm promoting it. I think this will be interesting to you based upon talking about evangelizing and being an evangelical, because you've heard that a lot. We talked about this last time. What does it mean to be an evangelical? Among other things, I mean, basically, it's kind of like I'm a really committed Christian, right? Evangelical. Although in the culture today, it's taken on political significance and it's just changing. It's not what it was, but I still use the word evangelical. And anytime anybody asks me, like, what kind of theologian are you? And I don't name a denomination. I just say evangelical because that is what I anyway. So, based upon what we were talking about and the evangelical, let me get to this deal on the Credo House with the Credo House, which is right here. And I'll put it back because I know you hate not seeing my face for too long, and you're looking into a little bitty screen. But with the Credo House, we have look at that. Isn't that cool? Look at this theologian in the background.
Hey, I know the guy.
Look at that. Look how stately that is. Man, that's just amazing.
Like very regal.
I mean, it's like, God, it's hard to believe that there's not a picture of me in the Bible. Skipper, there we go. There's me laughing with other people beside you.
You should be able to stamp.
But let me tell you something. I'm taking this away. Oh, we had all kinds of scholars too, Tad. I didn't tell you that last time. I mean, it was every scholar in the book that is a big evangelical scholar, from Dan Wallace to I can't find. Oh, there's Paul Copan, but from Dan Wallace, Paul Copan. I mean, I know you know some of these names because you've heard me talk about them, but the biggest names, I get really excited talking about the Credo House because my goal was this: to make sure that we had a hub of intellectual vigor and strength that added to the background, if I could say this, the background music of the culture, because the culture right now is, I mean, I just there was a survey that came out yesterday about it was something like we've gone from 92% Christian all the way down to 70% Christian. I think we're in the 60s now. And even among the Christians that claim Christian, the gospel they believe in is what's called the health wealth gospel. I think 60% of them believe that God wants you to be healthy and wealthy. I'm not saying they're not saved. I'm just saying this is a message that they're given, that, once you become a Christian, you'll be healthy and wealthy. What a horrid starting point. God wants us to be like him, righteous. And if there's anything we're promised, it is that Jesus said, you will experience troubles like me. I'm not saying you have to go through that stuff. And I'm not saying that he will absolutely put you through that stuff. My daughter gets very uncomfortable whenever she starts hearing me talk about this because she just says, Dad, I don't want to hear it anymore. You are always talking about how hard it's going to be as a Christian. But this is the type of place where you come to and you find fellowship, and also the whole thing, the purpose is to reproduce these things in order to help evangelize. I mean, that's ultimately my goal, Chad, is that I'm creating. Bye-bye.
No, just
Was that a dog? Was that your dog?
yeah, it's none of your business.
Okay. It was to evangelize, to share the gospel. But I'm talking to Christians, strengthening them. Huh?
Are we live?
Yeah, we're live.
Okay, that's awesome.
Don't worry about it. No big deal.
All right.
But I'm talking to other Christians and strengthening them, trying to strengthen their faith and teach them good theology. And I would love to have one of these, Tad, at every college in the nation, to where all the students who are going there and the universities, Tad, you probably know this, but they are about the most godless place you can go in your state. Your state university is about the most godless place you could go. No matter what. I mean, the professors and the administration, it's very rare that you find anybody that is an evangelical Christian. And so and one of their main goals of these places is, I promise you, Tad, it is to beat up Christianity. I've seen it. I've been in there all the way back in 92. I remember being at state universities and seeing this, and every class I went into undermining Christianity. But it's created a cultural background music that is hostile towards the gospel. And what I want to do is provide a place that everybody can come to after they've been to class. They come and have coffee here. They come and have a Luther latte. They hang out with their friends here. It's the best place on campus to hang out because it's so comfortable. And then we have an answer for everything. Because Tad, don't worry about it. Tad, we do have an answer for everything as Christians, and that's the great thing. Well, I say that, but there's a lot of hard things. But we have an intellectually warranted faith that we can present to anybody at any time. And you know that because I've taught you a lot of apologetics, how to defend the faith. That's the reason why I had you read that book. Where'd you go? Are you still there? There you are.
This phone thing just happened, and sorry about this.
You probably haven't heard anything I've said. So
no, I've listened to every single thing you said, and
okay.
So many things to say about that. And
okay, but that's just what I wanted you to relate the Credo House to the evangelism, because it is ultimately that's our goal. Matthew 28:18 is the Great Commission. I don't know if you've ever heard that. I talked to you about it last time, but Christ's last words, go and do all.
But apparently I like Mark, so I don't know.
Go into all the creation and preach the gospel. Make disciples, baptizing them in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. We're to make disciples. That's what we're trying to do. We're not trying to make converts. We're trying to make disciples, and it takes more time. If you can still hear me, your screen is black right now, Tad. Hello. Okay, Tad is gone. So anyway, guys, let me get this because Tad will be back. I promise. But I want to finish off with this in the Credo House. I do believe in the Credo House, and I'm not saying it has to come back. I'm perfectly fine doing I love what I do right now. But I do see this as there's such a vision here that is so needed that we have to have some type of neutral place where people can go. It's not supported by a church. I mean, I'm not saying churches can't support it, but it's not underwritten by a church. It's not the Credo House that is actually Baptist, the Credo House that is actually Catholic or something like that. It is the Credo House that is evangelical, which all denominations come to, and we all find harmony around the central elements of our faith, even though we rigorously debate those things that we disagree on, but we don't divide over them. That's what I was telling them, Tad, and I just tried to
So
expand on what I said.
talk about. Okay, there's like three things here. One, I would love for you and I to go talk to some of these professors and go to these classes, which I can make happen, and just talk about like let's have open minds here.
Yeah.
Quit telling your side of the story. Let's open this up to have other sides of the story, man. There's always three sides of the story. There's your side, my side, and the truth, right? But let them figure this out on their own. I mean, let people think for themselves. And then two, what was the last? You said something before that I have had a lot of phone problems after the phone dropped, and I forgot my second one.
Well, Ted, you're right about that. I mean, here's the thing about the universities is that it's not only are they hostile to Christianity, but they have said, no other views allowed. It's just this. That's why we keep all our professors in line. So it's not something that the university is supposed to be, where you have unity and diversity. University, it's
I've got a big problem with that,
The
Michael.
diversity's not there anymore at all. So I mean, it's you're right about that.
I'm right about everything.
Yeah.
Just ask.
No, I do. I mean, I don't think anybody can say no. Listen to this, Ted. Whoever loves discipline, and let me come up with another word from a different translation, because I know how allergic you get to some words sometimes. Whoever loves instruction, whoever loves change, whoever loves discipline loves knowledge. Whoever loves instruction loves knowledge, but he who hates to change is stupid. That's Proverbs 12:1. Is that great? If you don't like to be changed,
you put that on Facebook earlier, or you text me that or something.
Yeah, I put it on Facebook. Yeah. Don't try to act like it's no big deal, because I already put it up.
Well, don't
undermine me. I'm not receiving your discipline right now.
Stuff. I just watch all. I mean, Michael.
But
I've told you this since day one. I read everything and watch everything you do.
I know.
And
I know.
And because I'm a big fan of yours, and you're truly one of my best friends. And I want to say one more thing before we go, because we were talking about your mom and your sister, and it's a very personal story but I think all these people I don't feel judged. I mean, I know the comments I've been getting and what you've been getting and the other things we've been getting. And we got about 30,000 of you guys watching this. And so thank you for that. But I slapped in front of
not watching, listening. Nobody's migrated over.
Yeah, listen. But I slept in my car on Christmas Eve in front of Michael's house.
Hey, Ted, you told this like 3 or 4 episodes ago.
So, yeah, I did it 3 times.
You're talking about my mom, right?
Dude,
coming out.
Amazing story on the planet.
No, go ahead. Tell it real quick.
No, I don't want to.
All right, sorry. I mean, I'm sure you did tell it though.
I talk to you all the time, so
I know. That's why I was just not thinking. I'm like, okay, we talk all the time. Maybe you just brought it up, but I'm almost positive you brought it up. She came out and she was. My mom was so great. She was very influential.
She still is.
Yeah, I mean, she still is. One of these days, I'll talk to you a little bit about her live, but I've talked to you about her. I've got a different mom now. I know you don't understand that. I know you don't want me to say that, but I do. I lost my mom and I got somebody brand new whenever she had her head blow up inside or whatever. Okay. We don't want to go there.
I love you.
Whoever. All right. Wait. Whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but he who hates reproof is stupid. Don't be stupid. I'll try not to be stupid too, Dad. Okay.
Okay. Easier said than done.
All right, but just think about that. You memorize scripture. I mean, okay, try to memorize some. Find your favorite scriptures and start memorizing them. I know this sounds cliche. I know this sounds like you're getting churchy or whatever. Call it whatever you want. Remember some scriptures or something. Don't use the word memorize. But these types of things are the things that will pop up in your head over and over again, and will be used. God will use. He'll bring to mind these scriptures at times, and anyway, I don't know why I said that at the end. I just felt like I wanted you to do it. I mean, I wanted to tell you to memorize scripture. And this is a good one. Whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but he who hates reproof is stupid. And I'm not saying it to you because I got some type of reproof to tell you right now or later. I just love this. I love this passage, and I always think, why can't everybody be like this? All right, bye, Tad. Love you.
I love you, Michael.
Quit making faces at me.
Well, I can't help it.
They look kind of lovey-dovey. Leave me alone. All right, folks. Thank you so much for being with us again. This one, truly, I did not know what we were talking about. I think we got somewhere, so hopefully you enjoyed it. And whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but he who hates reproof is stupid, or the King James is brutish. Oh, that's that. I don't know which one's better. I like stupid because it's offensive. And I think we need to be offended sometimes because we go into every situation with only the goal of confirming whatever it is we already know and believe. We do not like to change. Anytime somebody comes up to me and begins to tell me something, my wife called me earlier and she goes, I don't want you to get mad. Okay. She always warns me like that. I don't want you to get mad, but I need to ask you something. I'm like, oh, great. What you gonna ask me to change now? I didn't get real excited about it. I didn't say, yes, here comes some change, instruction, discipline. This is my favorite thing. It's like all the armor goes up and I'm getting ready. I'm already responding before she does anything. So this is something that I say, hey, Tad, memorize this. Hey, everybody memorize this. But you know why? Because I need this so bad. But in theology, it's so important. So important. You cannot go into theology thinking you're going to learn something and then believing already that you already know what's right. We've got to be open to the possibility that we could be wrong, and many times we are. So, guys, I love you all. Thank you all for helping us out in every way by watching this, by commenting, by subscribing. Also, don't forget to go to the stream. Not support the stream. It's support this stream by going to Patreon. And there's all kinds of other things that you're supporting there. I mean, a huge ministry of so much stuff. It's just overwhelming how much stuff we have with Credo courses. So check that out. Check out the blog. Check out the blog, the theology program. That's one of the main things I want you to look at. Whenever you get to if you go to credocourses.com, that's mine, check out the theology program. It's the most important thing that we do in this ministry by far. Every single thing that I do in ministry is trying to point people to get in the theology program because it's such a fundamental discipleship program. It really, really is. And if I was to tell you what's the most important course in the theology program, there's 6 courses. The first course, Introduction to Theology. I know it doesn't sound sexy, but it is the most important course. And trust me, that's where you'll learn stuff like this about how we have to learn how to change, and we'll learn so many things about how we're wrong and be ready to learn. Because if you're not ready to learn, don't waste your time. Don't read any books. If you're not ready to change, don't waste your time watching any videos or going to any classes. Just stay at home. It's not going to do you any good. You'll just harden in your prejudice. But Introduction to Theology will help you. Go to this right here, and then you can get free access to the Introduction to Theology class. So anyway, we will get with you next time. I don't know if it's going to be another Conversations with Ted or if I will be back for Theology Unplugged or whatever we might have. I was just talking to Ed the other day, and I think me and Ed are getting ready to do something. But let me tell you something. This is what I want to tell you. I told Tad this earlier. Within the next 2 days, we will have a schedule for Conversations with Tad. And I since I've gotten all my setup now, everything's here, everything's working. I will have a schedule for everything that I'm doing. Okay, so you can find that schedule. We will push it out. We'll tell you on Patreon, all my Patreon supporters. Thank you so much, Patreon supporters. By the way, thank you so much. Can't do any of this without you. You guys are the greatest. You're so encouraging. I mean, really, I don't say that because everybody says it. I really do. I can't believe how many people have come on Patreon and supported $3 a month or whatever. $3, $100. I mean, it's great. So we will see you next time. We'll have the schedule. I promise. Thank you.